Hello everybody and welcome to AdobeLive.com. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And yes, I'm here with Michael Shays. He's here in the background. Oh, here's his hand. Yeah. And our guest, Elena Miska. We're going to be starting in just a second. This 3-day stream, will be all about graphic design and layouts and graphic design generally speaking. So we have a whole bunch of guests that are going to be joining us for these 3 days of live streaming. So join me over at AdobeLive.com because there's a few things that I want to show you there. Basically, on AdobeLive.com, we have access to the chat. That's where we can actually see your questions. We can see your remarks, your feedback to whatever we're doing here. There's also a schedule tab where we have the whole list of our guests throughout the 3 days. So we're going to be with Elena starting today and then again tomorrow at the same time. But of course, oh, okay, you just stopped it in the, yeah, okay. We have Veronica Cordero, we have Nina Chen, and Christine Arth joining us later today. So stay tuned, it's going to be super exciting here on AdobeLive.com. But the last little tab that I wanted to show you is the contest tab. And in the contest tab, we have created a contest where we ask you to actually download a Illustrator template. And which you can then open in Illustrator CC and design a postcard for your creative studio or for your latest design work. And we'll be looking at that throughout the shows, giving constructive feedback to whatever you're submitting to us. So the way to submit your work to us is using Twitter, using the hashtag Adobe Live. Just to show you, I'm going to show you just very quickly what the template is all about. And what we ask you to do is you can change the background, you can change the graphics that are here, you can change the fonts of this postcard. But what we really want to know is the name of your studio or your name and your website. Okay, and this is what you have to submit to Twitter using the Adobe Live hashtag. All right. So if we go back here to AdobeLive.com, that's where we have the chat, the schedule, and the contest. So this is really the best experience to watch this live stream because everything is there in one place. So let's move over to Elena. Elena, hello. How are you?
Great.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you traveled all across the USA to come here today. And
yeah.
I heard you had late flight last night.
Late flight.
Yes,
I flew in from New York last night.
Okay.
But so happy to be here. I'm actually from California, from the Bay Area.
All right. But you live in New York now.
I do live.
You live and work in New York.
Yes.
Okay. By the way, let's see in the chat where you guys are all from. So please, let us know in the chat. Let's have a little round the world chat here and see where you guys are coming from. Okay, there's already Germany. We have people from all over the world. So, Elena.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about you. So we just discovered that you're from the Bay Area, but that you moved to New York.
Yeah, so I've been in New York for the past couple of years. I'm a designer and art director. I do as much as possible to, in my free time, take on freelance projects, do my own little artwork, which we'll get into in a minute because it ties in with what I'm going to be doing with you guys today. So design and art direction.
All right, I love the way that we're meeting so many creative professionals on these live streams, but most of them have these side personal projects and. They're usually the more exciting ones, right? This is really like where you can fully be fully creative and really do the things you love doing, right?
Yeah, I think it's great because there's so much, there's a lot of flexibility and freedom, and when you can just do your own thing and be creative, but in your own realm, it's for me, it's very zen. It's kind of like meditation, but still being creative.
The chat is going crazy. Like we have people from all over the place: Italy,
Incredible.
Algeria, Berlin, UK, Pakistan, Egypt,
So
UK,
amazing.
Algeria.
Hi,
all right.
everyone.
Serbia, Seattle. So some people in the same time zone, some people in completely different time zones. So welcome everybody, and I'm super excited about your work and what we're going to be doing over the 3 days.
Yeah, same.
So what's your plan?
My plan is, so based on what I was just mentioning, I create all these little art projects on the side, usually late at night when I should be sleeping, but it's always fun to to work and kind of, like I said, zone out. So I've created over the past few months all these little collages and doodles. It's hard to call them art because it's not really art, but it's how I can kind of just de-stress and do my own thing without any real stress around it. So what I'm going to do is create a zine, kind of to house these works, to give them a place to live and give them context. It'll be pretty flexible. There's no real rules. I think I'll add in some typography though. So we'll focus on mostly being in InDesign and doing some layout and see where it takes us.
But before we start, I noticed that you're on your Behance page right now. So maybe I think that one thing that I noticed that you're being featured in a whole bunch of different Behance things. There on graphic design, advertising, photography, and AIGA.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool when they feature you?
So nice.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Are there any projects that you want to highlight and so people get to understand better who you are and what you do?
Of course. So for the past year, I'll just do something recent. For the past year, I've been working with a company called Milk Makeup, which is based out of Milk Studios in New York City, and I am the art director there. And what's amazing about this brand is that it's all about self-expression and creativity. So it is a makeup brand, but it's so rooted in the arts and just kind of has this punk spirit to it. So a lot of the job is dealing with photo shoots, but also building the brand's identity, also maintaining the brand's identity. So finding the balance between those and creating these pieces on multiple platforms that kind of help to show the brand in the light that we want to show it in. And I think this is fun. This kind of ties back to things that I do anyway in my personal time, which is why the brand is so fun to work with. These were photos that we did for one of our campaigns a year ago. And we did this campaign where we got to paint over these. So this is actually... I took these home and I just went a little crazy kind of to mimic the makeup. This was in the streets of New York last Fashion Week in the fall. So this is something that I'm doing currently, Milk Makeup. And then also doing, like I mentioned on the side, working on some freelance projects. I'm working on an identity right now. I'll just pull up my personal site because it's literally just a coming soon thing. But I don't have much to show here, but it's kind of a fun identity that is in the works. So
lots of textures happening there.
Yeah, again, bringing in when I have the freedom to, each client is different, but when I have the freedom, bringing in some sort of hand-created pieces and mixing it then obviously with more computer-generated things, typography, to create the final piece. So that's a little overview. You guys are welcome to ask me any questions along the way about
I noticed something. If we just open the Milk Makeup again. Clone project.
Don't clone project.
Don't clone project. One thing that's super important in these Behance portfolios is really the text description of the project, and I see that you're doing that, and I think that's a really important part of when presenting work on Behance, is to give as much information as possible about the project, because I still see a lot of portfolios on Behance that are just the work, and it's really hard to understand, what it is, who it's for, what the idea was, what the concept was. So I always invite everybody, everybody who wants to create a Behance portfolio and also an Adobe portfolio, is to add as much text information as possible, because that's what people are going to be looking for.
Yes, definitely. It gives it context, and also, as you can see, credits are always important. So you can you can give credit where credit is due.
Very good.
Yeah. So that's a little bit about what I've been up to. Obviously, if you scroll through, you can see some of my past work. And again, ask me any questions along the way, and I'll be happy to answer them.
All right. Great work on the Milk project. Love the roughness and the freedom you got.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John. Wow, amazing. So many people from so many places. Great, so should we get started?
Yeah, let's get started.
So I'm going to be working today primarily in InDesign, but we'll also be pulling in, we'll be working in Illustrator a little bit and maybe a teeny bit in Photoshop to tweak some things, but mostly InDesign. So I'm going to start, since this is a zine, I'm going to keep it pretty simple and do tabloid. And I'm actually going to get it printed afterward. I think I'm going to find some local printer and get some copies printed up. Since we are creating something for print, I want to actually see it through.
We will find a printer. Yes.
At Adobe.
Amazing. All right. So print. I'm going to do 20 pages. We can always change things as we go along. Tabloid. I'm going to make it a little bit wider margins.
Ramesh is asking, how did Adidas find you? Any tips for approaching sport brands? Thanks and best wishes from London, UK.
Yeah, I actually I worked with them when I was working at an agency in New York City called Johannes Leonardo. So they handle all of the global campaign work for Adidas Originals. So I was able to work with Adidas through them. Incredible brand to work with. It was fun. They definitely champion creativity and kind of pushing the boundaries. So have my beautiful board
it looks like it starts empty, but I see you also have a whole bunch of sketches there.
I do have some sketches, yeah.
Do you want to show those?
Yeah, can you all see these?
Let's see if we can get this. Oops, whoa. Okay, I'm holding camera.
This?
Oh, there we go. Okay.
So I like to start out with...
I need to fix something first.
Okay, we're fixing it.
Now we go.
Okay.
So I start out with some sketches. In this journal, I also have just some notes, things that might help me along the way. But essentially, it's always nice to just start with some sketches to fall back on.
Yep.
And get some things down on paper. I don't usually start straight on the computer.
Is sketching something that comes naturally to you, or is it something you had to learn?
I actually, my background is kind of based in the arts. I've always done a lot of kind of doodling my whole life. So these are rough, but I think that's kind of how sketches should be. It's just for you. It's not for anyone else.
And do you keep your sketch pads?
Yeah, I actually do. I mean, they don't do anything. They sit in a drawer. But they're kind of nice to look back on, because then when a project's done, I've pulled out a sketch, pad before and seen the very preliminary stages of something, and it's kind of exciting to see where it's started and where it finished. Yeah.
There's another question here. How do you manage clients that restrict your creatively? As there's always a battle between commercially and creatively.
Yeah, good question. I think, well, part of it is choosing the people you work with wisely, the companies you work with wisely. You don't want to pick a losing battle. So ideally, anyone that you work with would be in line with your vision, but obviously that's not the case 100% of the time. So I think being able to find a common ground while still maintaining your integrity and the brand's integrity, it's sometimes a compromise.
Yep, compromise sometimes.
Sometimes. Sometimes you win, sometimes they win.
All right,
so getting back to work. So let's, we have our pages here. I'm just going to set up a grid. Why is this not, did it freeze? There we go. So sometimes I do the grids and guides on the same layer, but it's kind of everything works. So let's see. I'm just gonna go here and change the color because I remember seeing one of those other ones and it was actually acting a little funky.
Yes, there's some colors that we need to avoid, like bright red.
Bright red, good to know.
It goes like zzz.
So I'm just gonna create a pretty simple grid system. We can always change it if we need to. But it's nice because this is a way that allows you flexibility. I mean, it gives you certain constraints, but also allows for flexibility. I'm gonna align it to the margins.
So I see that you're choosing.
Elena?
Yes.
Leta is in the chat. Leta.
Lita! Hi. Oh, now I'm nervous.
Hey, Leda. So you're choosing even numbers.
Yeah, it's nice. I think, again, we can always change this as we go along. It's nice, I think, to start with something. Every project is different. This is, I think,
because even numbers give like sense of stability, and uneven numbers is like more unstable, right?
Yeah, and I
It's less
actually,
symmetrical.
when I'm laying things out, I do always tend to gravitate toward odd numbers. I don't know. I love pairings of threes. Twos always seem a little too balanced, but in terms of a grid and creating that stability, I think even for now is good. So that's fine.
Good.
We can always update it later.
Leda says, "Don't be nervous."
Hey, Wade. Wade is here.
Oh no! Hi, Wade. All right. The pressure's on. Okay. So if I go back here, I can see that all of my pages have this grid. I can turn it off if I need to. So before I go into kind of creating anything, I want to just show you guys some of the things that we'll be playing with. Like I mentioned, there's all of these sketches and doodles and collages that I do in my free time. So we're going to just flip through some of them so you can see before I actually start placing them what we're getting into. Some of them are cropped, some of them are not cropped. But this is literally just something that I love doing in my, like late at night when everyone's sleeping to zone out. And again, it's meditative for me. Some of it's with gouache, some of it's no paint at all. Just no rules, which is great. And I think that's what this zine is going to be about. We're not going to really have too many rules. We're just going to see where it takes us.
Well, Gaia is asking, how did you get into art direction, and how long did you work up to the position of an art director?
I think graphic design and art direction go very hand in hand. I've always been very visually inclined, and I think that the art direction work I am hired for is because I'm also a designer, and I wouldn't just be able to do art direction without design. So one of my first jobs was actually the art director of a magazine, and so that was dealing with photo shoots. That was also designing the magazine, creating the identity for the magazine. So I think doing a lot of both has led me to where I am, and just also being passionate about both. I don't think you need to necessarily do both, but I love a good mix. So yeah. All right. So sorry, I'm not the best at multitasking. So I'm gonna go up here actually to creating some just page numbers and information. Is green gonna go crazy?
No, green is
Gray.
okay.
Green's okay. All right.
Yeah, green is not transparent on your screen.
Oh, got it. I don't want to give anyone
That's a
seizures.
good thought, though.
I can make it transparent.
Oh, yeah. Right.
So we're going to go over here to our master page. And I don't really know yet what I'm going to do in terms of typography yet. We'll get into that in a minute. But I do have some ideas. So we're going to add... I know I haven't even told you the headline, but we're going to add the subhead. Color, shape, and emotion.
That's a running title.
I think it's going to be like the subhead. I actually would love people's opinions on the title, which I haven't even gotten to yet. So I'm not sure yet what we're going to be using, but for now we can use Averta. And we're just going to place it here. Again, this could all change. I'm kind of doing it on the fly. We'll say, let's see, we'll call it issue 1 just because you never know. This could be the start of something amazing, right? Let's see, issue 1.
Do you call them issue 0 as well?
I don't know. Is this issue 0? Is it?
Yeah, like when in Italy when we do the issue 0, it's like the 0, like it's like the idea, the concept.
Okay, let's do that.
No, I don't know.
No, I like it. 0. And I'll say by Elena Miska. I'm gonna bump that. Sorry, this stuff is a little dry, but it is all part of the process.
What I love about designing in InDesign, it's really about composition and layout and using the grid. It makes it the decisions quicker. And basically, that's why you use a grid to have some constraints, but it's still just a way to quickly place things.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Imagine
so nice.
if you had no grid, where would you place the things?
I know. I mean, don't tell anyone. Sometimes I like to do certain things like that. No, it's great to have a grid, and then you can always break it. You can always change it. It's just nice to have. It's kind of like the better the grid, the more flexibility you actually have. All right, so I'm going to do some page numbers here. Insert current page number. And so this is my master spread, like I mentioned. View. So if I go onto any of these my actual pages, you can see that everything transferred over. So now I have a nice little system that'll always stay there with me. And if I need to change anything, I can just quickly go back if I made that massive, and it would apply to everything. So
yeah, it's really cool. Like master pages organization. And you talked about like it being a little bit zen and stuff, and I think it is, right? It's like you have to think about many different details and put them together.
Yeah.
But thinking about them ahead of time, it makes it so much easier in the long run.
Totally. And I think when you figure this stuff out at the beginning, you can be quite experimental with the actual interior, the pages and the content, because if you have something that's sturdy and solid, everything else can be a bit more fluid. So I'm actually going to go here. Let's see if I remember how to do this. course, now I'm blanking out.
That's okay. It's part of the creative process.
It is part of the creative process.
What are you looking for?
Making... Oh, why am I totally blanking out? Making the page numbers start on 3 on this page.
You control click on the page, and you say, where is it?
Numbering.
Yes.
Yes.
And you can start
I'm
the
actually
numbering
do
wherever
this
you want.
style. I'm gonna start here, and then I'm gonna apply none to these other ones so that I can start here, because this is going to be my the cover page, and then usually it's nice to leave the interior blank. If this was a client project, they'd probably want to fill up as much space as possible, but since this is just for us.
There's a little discussion going on here about whether this is a tutorial or not. This is not a tutorial.
No.
Pavel, you put it right. It's not a tutorial. The session is meant to show the thought process, the tips and tricks, and also like the creative process of Elena. And
Yes.
If you want to learn about InDesign, like how to exactly create these things, there's so much stuff on under the help menu. There's so many videos on adobe.com and elsewhere on the web. So if you want to learn, there's other places for that.
Yeah.
What we're interested in is to get into your brain and see
don't
how that
listen
works. Yes.
Don't listen to everyone. The great thing about these programs is that literally everyone does them a different way. So there's no, I might do something a certain way, but
We
that
get this
doesn't
so many
mean-
times that you do something like the guest does something a certain way, and then somebody in the chat, but there's a better way.
I know.
And I always say, it doesn't matter. It's the best way for you,
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
And
To each
your way is the
their
best
own.
way for you,
Oh,
and it's
there's
so...
my husband. Hi, Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Okay, great. So we're gonna place something. I'm actually gonna. So we're going to take one of these things and let's see, where are you? So I like this image just because it's bold, and I feel like it definitely represents me and the project, so it's a good starting place. Where am I?
The
I don't
donut's
see
not
my-
working.
No. I'm also going to make sure that we're in a high quality display so that we can see everything that's going on. All right. So, sorry, just going to, all right. So this is kind of the
Janet
framework.
says, I always feel less like a beginner when I see them sometimes not being able to find stuff or struggle with a tool. Then I
It's
think
universal.
it's not just you, Janet. It's not just you. It happens. I've been working with InDesign since its first version, and it
literally
happens to me all the
everyone.
time. Yeah, like But then there's also a cool tip, like if you remember the name of the tool, if you go in the help menu,
Help.
yeah, and search and start saying, okay, I'm looking for type. And then it tells you where
Yeah.
things are.
And that is super
there we
helpful.
are, yeah.
And you can go wild. All right.
So Janet, you're not alone.
No, not
No.
at all. Literally, it's so universal.
We get lost in the weeds all the time.
So, like I mentioned, I would love actually your input on some names. I was thinking of calling it Zenzine because, well, to be honest, I love the way that looks typed out. But also, this whole project is based on things that kind of are de-stressors and just for the fun of it. So I'm going to use that as the working title. Other options were just my name, Garber Miska. I'm going to make this way bigger. Not that big. So you guys can see it. So we're gonna play around with some type options, and I'm actually gonna do this on another page just so we can have a clean space to work in. And I'm gonna go with Zenzine, but I would love all of your opinions on what you think it should be called. And then tomorrow, I thought it would be great to customize something, like whatever we choose today, customize it in Illustrator tomorrow.
I think Zenzine is great. Maybe we like a subtitle. We can ask in the chat what they would put as a subtitle.
Yeah, I mean, for the time being, my working subtitle was a color, shape, and emotion, just because that is the thing that ties everything together. I think, Miska-zine, that's a good one. So we're going to start with this. And there are some cool typefaces out there that I think I want to use a serif, because it's probably, I think that the work itself is quite modern, so balancing it with something that's a bit more, a little bit more traditional, but still has that feel of, it's like classic meets modern, because this is definitely a newer typeface. If we did something like Didot, you could see how truly classic it is.
Robzilla, sensational.
So you can see the difference between these two. I think if we wanted to go super classic, we'd go with the Didot, but I want to maintain that feeling, but not be there. So I'm just gonna play with some type options, and then again, like I mentioned, tomorrow maybe we'll customize something in Illustrator. So I love this one because it has the thick and the thin, but it's a little bit chunkier, so it's just feels a little bit more fresh and modern to me. Is that typeface available on Typekit? No, I love Typekit. This one is not. This one is from Letters from Sweden. They have super, super beautiful typefaces. This is called Excel Display. You can see that.
Is there anything
in the corner
similar on
there.
Typekit, maybe?
Maybe.
Let's go in the font menu a second. And we'll just open the font, the type panel.
Oh, I think we just...
Closed it. No.
Want to go here?
Yeah. Wait.
This isn't... I don't have Typekit open.
But if we go in select the text.
Which one? Oh, this.
Yeah. And then inside of the font, here in the menu.
Yep.
And then we say add fonts from
Oh,
Typekit.
great.
And there I think we can even say, oh, already signed in, okay.
Yeah, I think you can say...
You can, yeah.
Should I keep me signed in?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
To have a D done.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah,
basically
so
you have
this
the
is great.
classifications. Mm-hmm.
So we can go to serif and see what might be similar.
And then you can also say the properties.
Yeah, so let's we can go with high contrast, which you might already get from a sans serif, but so this is, there are some that are similar-ish. I'll uncheck that. I think I'm not seeing them all because I'm not signed into my main account, probably.
Oh, yeah.
But there's definitely, I mean...
Oh, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are usually more.
Mm-hmm.
So Typekit is great for that. Let's see. So I'm just going to play around with a few more.
Oh, now and then.
Now and then, yes. I love these. Keep them coming.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So I wrote down a few things in my notebook, which I'm just going to refer to. And we can kind of see how different typefaces might give might give a different feeling. This one's pretty cool, Romana. So again, I'm just playing here, seeing what feels best. I think it'll make the most sense when I start adding in imagery, and then we can kind of go from there. This one's quite whimsical, and it probably.
That's really thick and thin. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very. I think there's another one in this family that's even quirkier. Maybe I only have that one. Anyway, so I'm gonna I think stick with this one for now, just because it feels the best in terms of what I want to do. So I'm gonna go back up here. Oh, what happened there? So we're gonna place it. Probably make it even bigger. So that kind of gives me that balance that I'm looking for of still feels fresh, but a hint of classicism. And I'm just gonna grab this from here. I turned off the guides on this page, but that's okay.
Oh, potential title, Miscellaneous.
Love it. I see a common thread with using Miska. Issue 0. I'm super into that.
Yeah, right? Numero 0.
So this is kind of what it's looking like right now. If you guys can see, just working through the beginning stages. And I'm gonna pop this up a little bit.
Well, there's a quiz.
What quiz?
Just a quiz.
Oh.
There's a quiz. A quiz in the chat.
Someone's asking.
No. Michael is being creative and asking stuff.
And let me know, you guys, if you have any questions for me. I'm happy to answer anything. I'm just being fussy. All right, so that seems like a pretty good working starting place. This is the first page of the zine, the title page, and that's probably
miscommunication. That's a good one.
That's amazing.
That should be your publishing house.
Zenzine by Miscommunication. Sold. All right, so I'm going to start placing some more images on. Actually, right now, what I think would be fun is to. I'm gonna just eyedrop a color real quick, and I'm gonna have. I'm gonna have a little intro page. someone ask a question?
Yeah, no, it's a, do you doodle and create your personal pieces anywhere, or do you have a space that you like to work in?
Yeah, I do it at home. I don't have an external studio, but my husband and I have a little studio in our apartment that is a great place to kind of just get messy and do things by hand. We both love to create things, so that's a space that we can just work into the night without annoying anyone or each other.
And that's right, Creative Cloud. There's a contest going on, so head over to adobelive.com and there's the contest tab, and there's a template that you guys can download and modify and post to Twitter using the Adobe Live hashtag. And on Friday we will choose 10 lucky winners out of all the submissions to Twitter, and and 10 lucky winners of a 1-year Creative Cloud subscription. Right?
Also,
I'm
thinking about something.
Oh, okay. Michael is thinking.
Because we almost have 200K subscribers.
All right.
So if we reach 200,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel, there will be a special giveaway.
Ooh.
Okay.
I don't know what, but there will be special giveaways. Like
all right. There's going to be a special giveaway because we're almost at 200,000 subscribers to the Creative Cloud YouTube channel.
So if you reach 200 during the stream,
yep,
over the 3 days, special giveaways.
And remember, we're streaming over the next 3 days. Today is day 1. If we reach 200,000 subscribers to the Creative Cloud YouTube channel, there will be a special giveaway. Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. And remember that also we will be doing some giveaways during the streams. And if you subscribe to the Creative Cloud YouTube channel, you have 5 times more chances to actually be chosen in these giveaways. So make sure to subscribe. There's a button down below where you can subscribe to the Creative Cloud YouTube channel.
So this is kind of summing up this page what the project is about, because like I was mentioning earlier, if any of you missed it, this is stuff that I create in my spare time. It ties back often to how I'm feeling, if I am angsty, if I'm happy. I think a lot of the times the work reflects that. So this was kind of just my way to, these works that I'm showing are not really created with anything in mind, but I think this sums it up nicely. So
that's right, Luke. LC Finch. Yes, Michael will give away his hair and sheep it to you.
I already did.
Yeah?
Maybe he doesn't know.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Well, Luke.
Yeah. You would be surprised.
Yeah, you would be surprised. You will be seeing Michael live in about an hour and 15 minutes. And he doesn't have any hair anymore. So.
So I'm going to start placing some work on another page. Blue is kind of hard to see. Let's see.
So is there collages you did?
Yeah, so this is kind of a mix of stuff. This is a little finger painting experiment that I was doing with gouache. I'd actually done something a bit less abstract, and I had this leftover paint, and they're not my usual colors, but I was just having fun, and again, all about freedom. So I made these finger paintings, and I cut them out, and then I collaged it with some red.
So Christoph is asking, how much did you prepare in your sketchbook, and how much are you creating in the moment you work on InDesign?
Most of it's in the moment. I mean, I knew that I wanted to create a home for all these pieces, and that because I created them all by hand, I thought it would be fun to create something actually tactile instead of a place for them to live on the web. I mean, they all already do in some places, like on social media, but that's pretty much the only place. So I thought it would be great to create something that you could actually hold at the end, which is pretty exciting.
There's also a discussion going on, it's like the ageless discussion about why Mac, why not PC, and you know what? Whatever works best for you. Okay?
Whatever works.
Yeah, whatever works.
Both work.
Both work.
Both work.
Equally well. So I guess I'm a Mac user because that's how I grew up. But there's actually, there's no technical reason for it, really. I mean,
everyone has their preferences.
Exactly.
I think whatever works for you, and that's across the board. That's the way what computers you like, what programs you use, how you use the programs. I mean, there's obviously good and better ways to use things, but whatever works for you. And this project specifically is all about just not taking anything too seriously and having some fun. So, and then I don't know if I fully answered someone's question, but yeah, I did sketch some things out, just making sure I didn't miss anything. I have this little sketchbook that I brought with me of ideas for layout, but aside from that, it's all pretty loose.
Yeah, right. It's just a tool. And nobody's asking, but is your creativity a Mac or a PC? No.
No. It's just a tool to get it out, and then everything else is really whatever you use, whatever works.
Yes, Luisa, we talked a little bit about the grid system. In this case, we have an even number of columns, and the horizontal grid is also even number. Basically, that allows for a more, how can I say, more stable layout, maybe, like less.
Yeah. I think either would have worked, especially because this is mostly image-based, and the type that we will be laying out in a little bit is more display type. We're not gonna, I don't have any, since this isn't a client project, I don't have any body copy necessarily, so the grid is nice, but it's not as fundamental because we're not creating a book with a lot of copy.
So Christoph has a second question. Thanks. How do you put the collage together when you do something? Do you do it handcrafted or digital art?
All of these are hand created. I love working with my hands and doing things that are tactile, because so much of the time, I mean, I'm sure we're all in the same boat. We do a lot of work on the computer, so at the end of the day, if I find some time, even if it's just once a week, to get away from the computer, do something by hand, and then what I like to do is scan it in. Oftentimes, maybe I'll up the contrast a little bit, or tweak the colors, or clean it up.
Do you mean you have a scanner?
I do have a scanner.
Okay. Because more and more people are just going click.
Yeah. It depends on what it is, but for this I definitely want to have that quality, and sometimes with the paint, the scanner actually will create ripples in the work, which I then have to Photoshop out. So oftentimes I use Photoshop just to get it to look like the original was. And maybe it's because I don't have the best scanner, but it does the job. So I'm just working on placing some more images. I'm actually gonna cover that up. probably
So
gonna
decided to
place.
print it.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
like in the team to find the printer.
Ah, okay.
Amazing. It's gonna be fun to actually hold it. It's not often that we get to, make printed pieces. So I think having this opportunity where it's all about just having fun is really great.
And for those of you on the stream wondering if these are going to be available for replay, yes. As soon as the stream finishes, it will be available as a replay on adobelife.com. There will be a replay tab, and we'll be able to see all of the replays for this stream. And then, of course, they'll live forever on YouTube. Does that put pressure on
Yeah,
you? It will
so
live
much
there
pressure.
forever.
I'm thinking about a big prize. Maybe if we reach the 200K,
Mm-hmm.
might be a ticket to Max. What do you think?
Can I win?
If you are in the chat.
Yeah.
That's
So you're
multitasking.
committing to that? Nobody heard you yet. Okay. All right.
You can
So
say that I'm almost
yes. Michael is almost committed to an idea for the grand prize for the 200,000 followers on the YouTube channel.
You can say it.
Yes.
But you say it almost.
Okay. So guys, it might be a ticket to Adobe Max.
Dun, 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 dun.
Shh.
To call all their friends to subscribe.
Yes.
Because when we reach 200K, we pick someone in the chat.
That's exciting. It's a
Didn't
good
say that.
prize.
The what?
When we reach 200K, we pick someone in the chat.
Yep. So basically the way that works is when we reach 200,000 subscribers to the Adobe Creative Cloud YouTube channel, we will pick somebody, well, not we will not pick, Nightbot will pick somebody, a lucky winner in the chat to get the grand prize of a ticket to Adobe Max. Shh. Everybody wants to go to Max. No, LC Finch, the flights are on you.
No.
Oh, no?
I pay for the flight.
Oh, holy shit.
We pay for the flight.
Okay, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to just tell Michael, can you repeat that, please? Yeah.
I will pay for the flight.
Ooh. My God. This is awesome. All right, so
If
ticket.
you live in Vegas.
If you live in Vegas, yeah.
Okay.
Good. A flight down from the stratosphere. Yes.
All right.
Okay, Raina has a question.
Yes.
I would like to know how will you decide how much time to give yourself to work on a project, creative time, and then clean up revisions. Do you generally know how much time something is going to take you?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely try to, before taking on a project, figure out in advance. It depends. If it's if it's a personal project, then it really doesn't matter. Obviously, you don't want to spend forever on it because then you get tired of it and maybe don't finish it. And I like to at least try to finish all my projects. So I definitely think that if you're working for a client, it's great for both them and you to be able to give them some sort of estimate for how long it will take and, just the scope of the project so that you're both on the same page and you can meet all of their expectations.
Hey, and maybe the winner for the 200,000 subscribers, can come on the stream with us at Adobe Max
I can
to say hi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. We will be live from Max.
This is getting so much better.
I
Every
know.
second that goes by. This is crazy
Give away a
stuff.
car.
You get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car.
Christoph, can you explain a little bit why you position the things like you do? For this, because it's just a personal project, it's there's not necessarily as much rhyme or reason as to it. That, you know, if it were a book or a magazine, obviously we'd have to be fitting in probably a lot of copy, certain images, and those images would have specific dimensions, and there'd be a lot more constraints with this. It's very, very free, which, you know, mimics the freedom of the art. I don't want to have anything be too rigid because then it wouldn't really make sense with the content. So being able to have the grid and use it as kind of a tool but not rely on it super heavily lets it have a lot of freedom. And I think that's, you don't always get to work on projects where you have as much freedom as this, and that's the kind of the beauty of personal projects, which is why I recommend doing it in your free time if you want to. It's great to be creative but not have a lot of stress around it. So these 3 things I made all in the same night, one very late night when I was, I think I'd had a crazy week at work, and I just was doodling on this book, and I started painting it in with, like, mixing these colors, which is also very therapeutic to me. And so I did the black lines with pen, and then I painted over them. I mixed these colors, and it's just very very zen. Thus zen.
I love it. And I'm trying to pair pieces that I think go together. That's part of the process of, you know, laying it out. Certain things wouldn't necessarily work next to each other, so finding pieces that I've created that work well together makes it make more sense, especially because there is so much freedom. If there were things that didn't work together, I think the layout would seem a little bit funkier. So Ali, that's a good question. We need to hit the 200K during these 3 days. But if, of course, it happens during the night, like between one stream and the other, it'll be the day after, right? I mean, no worries. It doesn't have to be during the stream. Yeah, it's a big prize. Yeah. And I'm just glad that Michael committed to it and that I didn't. So.
Yeah, I will go to jail.
Yep. Right, Katie, these doodles are really, really sweet.
Thanks. I'm going to actually reuse this one because I love the blue, but I'm going to just enlarge it and abstract it.
And Dennis says, do you feel pressure to be creative, or how do you handle self-doubt moments? Do you have self-doubt moments?
I think everyone has self-doubt.
Yeah, right? I mean, that's part of life,
self-doubt.
Dennis. Everybody doubts.
For me, this project is this is a way that I can, get away from daily constraints, whether they're the constraints of, just anything. I think, and sometimes constraints actually make you work better, sometimes it's easier when you're working to a brief. I think this is so open that, maybe it would be better if I had specific restrictions or guidelines, but since it is really just something that I'm creating with you guys, that there's no real restrictions.
Yeah, and existential stress is part of life.
It is.
It is. Whether you're creative or not,
Everyone deals with it in various ways. For me, this is a way that I can be creative, but also de-stress, which is why I think it's a great thing. If I was just,
And I mean, you moved from a chill city like San Francisco to one of the most stressful cities on the planet, New York City, So you need to chill out, right?
Yeah, New York is pretty stressful, but it's amazing. There's so much inspiration. I love just, any block you turn down has so much inspiration.
Yes,
we do
so
it?
Dennis says, so doodling is part of your Zen.
Yes,
That's right.
absolutely.
I think doodling is, is therapeutic.
Yeah.
Should we do a giveaway to warm up?
A warm-up giveaway? Okay, so don't answer the question, okay?
I'll try
and,
it. I'll-
and yeah. No, because sometimes I ask the question and the guest
Like,
says,
I
oh,
know.
yeah. No, it just gives the answer because...
Okay, I promise.
So we're gonna wake up. Nightbot. Is Nightbot awake?
Yeah.
Nightbot is awake. So just to be very clear, Nightbot is an automated system. It's a bot, and basically what happens is we're gonna ask a question, and you guys are gonna be typing the answer in the chat, and Nightbot, after a little while, will actually select a winner out of all the correct answers inside of the chat, and there's a detail that everybody should know, that if you are a subscriber to the Creative Cloud YouTube channel, you have 5 times more chances to win in these giveaways. And we're going to be giving away a
Creative Concept.
1-year Creative Cloud subscription. All right?
If they're already a member,
if you're already a member, because that's a question that comes up many times, yeah, but I'm already a subscriber of Creative Cloud. And they say, good for you. We're just adding another year to it, okay? So it's not like you're losing something if you win, okay? It's a win-win situation. Yeah.
Win-win.
Win-win.
Absolutely.
Win-win-win. All right, so what I want to know, we're working on a magazine.
Zine.
A zine, yes, and very good. No, come, move over. Move
What?
over to this side a little bit. Okay. I want to know the name of the magazine. All right, so only those of you who have been here for the last at least 40 minutes will actually remember the name of the magazine. All right, so because it's actually in the running title down
You
down
can't
here. Yeah,
see it.
just hide it. Just hide. They can't see it right now. All right. So we want the name of the magazine that Elena is working on, and yeah, it's nowhere here to see. All right, and then we're gonna ask Nightbot to give us a winner out of all the correct answers.
People have been watching.
Mm-hmm. People have been watching, right?
Someone wants you to repeat the question. Oh, well, there are plenty of people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, now the chat goes wild. Was this question too easy? Should I ask another question? No, I'm just kidding.
it's a warm up.
It's a warm-up giveaway because this is our first stream of this 3-day live stream. Elena, how's it going so far?
It's
You
so
having
fun.
fun?
I'm having so much
Yeah?
fun. This is amazing. Look at
All
this.
right, the correct answer, of course, is Zenzine.
I can move. Oh, it won't.
Oh, people are even going into more detail, like Zenzine color and whatever
Shape
the
and emotion.
shape and emotion. Yeah. All right,
Okay.
so let's roll the dice and ask Nightbot, our automated system, to give us a winner.
We have to share the Twitter.
And as soon as we have the winner, we ask you to actually share your Twitter handle with us, and you will be contacted through Twitter. And boom!
Loris Ligonzo.
Loris Ligonzo, you are the lucky winner of a 1-year subscription to Adobe Creative Cloud. All right, Loris Ligonzo. Loris, what you need to do now is to manifest yourself in the chat and say, "Yay, I won!" and give us your Twitter handle, and this is the way we will be contacting you. All right. Very good. Congratulations, Loris.
Exciting. All right.
I'm looking if we have any submissions on Twitter with our ongoing contest here. I don't see anything yet. Remember that on adobelive.com, there's a tab down below that says contest. And there's a button that says get the template. And basically it's an illustrated template which we need you to customize with your work, your name, your URL, and submit that design to Twitter using the Adobe Live hashtag.
All right.
And for the first time, we give away also Adobe stock.
Oh, yes. So
for
not
the contest.
in the contest, we will be giving away a 1-year Creative Cloud subscription, but also some Adobe stock credits.
Yeah.
Do we know how many?
Usually it's 10 per month.
Ah, okay. Oh, over 1 year, like 10 per month over 1 year. Perfect.
So lucky.
Very good. So 1-year Creative Cloud subscription and Adobe stock credits. So yeah, so get that template and send your designs to Twitter. There's nothing happening there yet. I'm searching. Nope, nothing. Just. Oh, we have competition today. There's Cinema 4D Live. Okay. Ooh.
Someone said, could you tell us if you'd make a certain choice of paper for printing this? I love the idea. I was very inspired when I went to the New York Art Book Fair last summer. I was most inspired by all these really, really just DIY zines that were on just kind of cheap newsprint. So I think I'm gonna maybe, we'll see. I'd love to use some sort of cheap stock.
So 88 Stefan, how much can we edit the template? You can edit the template fully. There's only two things that we want you to keep. It's the two text fields, one that has the name of your project, your agency, or your name, and the one that has a link to somewhere where we can actually look at your work. And the background can be changed. You can change that with you can change the font. You can change anything. So it's just so that everybody has the same size to work with, and export that as a JPEG out of Illustrator and publish it to Twitter using the Adobe Live hashtag. Easy peasy.
I've also been over the past few weeks. Well, I say that it's actually an ongoing thing. I write little things down in my journal, just little reminders for me, little notes. They could be things that I want to achieve in that week, maybe in my lifetime. It's so vague. It's broad, not vague. So I'm just going to pull some things from my notebook that I have here. Some of them are, again, reminders. Some of them are things I want to do before I die. So I... one of my
Elena's bucket list. Yep.
Some of them are just reminders though, but some of them they're big, so I'm gonna use that to since I don't have any copy per se, I'm gonna pull from my notebook of things that reminders and things I've jotted down. So this one is don't just look at the pictures, which is kind of ironic because this is more photo heavy, this zine. So I think it's kind of funny.
And Ollie's has a follow-up question here. Do you ever feel uninspired? Or if so, how do you get your creativity flowing? Do you have any tricks?
Yeah, I think everyone has little ruts.
Write it out.
I love going to I'm very fortunate to live in the city that I live in and be surrounded by lots of inspirational things. That doesn't always do the trick. But, sometimes it's looking at books. Sometimes it's going to a museum or a gallery. I love going to the Strand bookstore in New York, and they have this amazing dollar rack of these books, old, new, whatever, and just sifting through those. That's actually where I get a lot of my the books that I cut up because they're old, they're out of print, but they're $1. So it's a great. And then you get inspired by looking at things you haven't seen because. Obviously, the internet has so much, but sometimes you just need a good old-fashioned book to get you inspired.
Yeah. Yeah, my trick is just go for a walk.
That works too.
If you have a dog, it's even better.
I do have a dog.
Yeah? What dog do you have?
He's a little cute little French bulldog who's like a little slug. He just loves to sleep all day. He does love going on walks, but most of the time he's just extremely lazy.
Yeah, I have a hyperactive beagle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Some of you in the chat know my name is Argo the beagle.
Oh.
I named him Argo because I'm always away from home, and Argo, is Ulysses' dog waiting for Ulysses to come back. So Argo is...
It's sad but cute. All right, so I'm gonna do it since I don't want everything to be entirely image-based. Ace the bulldog. Yeah, my dog's name is Ace. I'm going to break up some of these pages with some type treatments. Again, just using some of the things in my notebook. So we can... This typeface is super, super cool. It has a lot of different weights, and it's...
Oh, so Loris Ligonzo is Italiano. Allora, complimenti Loris, hai vinto un anno di Creative Cloud. Yay!
Ooh.
But do we have Loris's Twitter handle? Did you get that? Okay, awesome. Luca is asking, how do you balance the time dedicated to work and the time dedicated to learning new skills?
I think learning new skills is extremely important, but also work is.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, work tends to come first, making sure you're fulfilling all of your work needs, doing a good job there, but also, it is important, especially in this day and age where everything's constantly changing and evolving, updating, staying on top of the latest things. You don't need to be a whiz at everything, but making sure you can actually do better in your job if you're able to learn new skills.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there is, being able to get that balance and hopefully having an employer that champions that as well.
And I also think that it's not so much about learning the new skills; it's learning about the new things, right? Just to know that certain things are possible. So whenever, it's not like you're going to be using it every day or a new feature or something like that. But then when you have a creative idea, and then you say, "Oh, I saw that thing, and let me check how they did that, and then apply that." So I don't think it's so much about spending a lot of time getting into depth of features and things like that. It's more about knowing about them. And I think this is why these streams are super useful, because people are seeing your work, are seeing, taking decisions and things like that, and then they'll remember, hey,
Yeah.
Elena Miska did that really cool thing. And what was that font again?
Pretty much anything is possible nowadays. So I think it's just, picking and choosing. It's knowing what's out there, but also, picking and choosing what you care about so that you can learn it if that's something that you want to do. There's definitely a lot I don't know.
So Sarah Vassilier nous demande si on peut parler français, Michael.
Bien sûr.
Bien sûr qu'on peut parler français, Sarah. Aucun problème.
Je parle un petit peu.
Voilà, même Elena parle un peu de français. Ouais.
No, basically nothing.
Simone is asking, how much time do you spend sketching before you actually work over in InDesign? I guess that totally depends.
Yeah, I think it definitely depends. I think because this project has so much freedom, I just did very, very basic sketches. In more client-based projects, I think it is important to get your ideas down, but that doesn't necessarily need to be on paper. Again, to each his or her own. Everyone has their own ways of going about it. But I think getting those creative juices flowing, however you do it, is important, because oftentimes your best ideas aren't necessarily your first ones. Sometimes, not always.
Serena is asking, do you ever feel you need a break from art or design?
No,
How is that possible? Right?
I think art, at least, is my way of being creative without those constraints, because I'm not I'm not an artist by trade. I'm a designer and an art director. So I think art is my way of kind of relaxing, because no one can really judge me. I mean, they can, but it's, to me, that's my way of kind of just having a release. With design, also, I think that a lot of us are very fortunate to be in a field that is so, has so much flexibility. There's so many fields within design that you find after a while something that you love doing, and hopefully that's something that clients end up hiring you for, and then it doesn't feel like work. Do you ever go back to original design sketches and revise completely? I don't revise the sketches. I think sketches are my groundwork for what I'm going to do in InDesign or any of the programs, but I think that, the stuff in the programs I'm constantly revising.
Well, they look good, like don't on one side and don't reverse on the other. Like when you selected it, you know.
Oh, and had two?
Which Marshall is asking, what do you find more profitable, freelance or hire a designer?
For me? For you?
For you, but again, that's...
I think it's so...
Yeah.
I think it depends. Yeah. Is that what you're saying?
No. No, just reverse it again. Yeah, and just select it. See that?
Oh,
that
having
figure
it
round, yeah.
reversed out. Totally.
So Tom, yes, I think in other words, yes, it does. You know, like your sketches are one thing, and then how it turns out is another thing. I don't think sketches, like you mentioned, are necessarily what it has to be. It's just, you know, the beginning of an idea.
Yeah, it's not the be all end all. It's just a great way to get your, start thinking. I have a lot of sketches from projects that don't look anything like the finished project, but it's just a great way to start for some people.
Rolly32, if you don't have a studio, put your name. You don't need. I mean, we just put like studio name on the postcard, but it can be your name or the name of a project that you're working on. Oh, and there's a back to the postcard as well. Dennis is asking, would you design your own logo, or do you think it's better to hire somebody to do it? I have I always, like, when it comes to me, I always hire other people.
Really? I mean, it depends. I think it's
I would be too hard on myself.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the hardest things, to design things that represent yourself, because there's so much,
right?
so much resting upon it. If you can, great. But I think that, also if you have people that you admire, reach out to them. Yeah,
and that's kind of cool when you have. It's like having somebody like paint your portrait. Basically, yeah, it's a tribute from somebody else to you, and I think that's always nice. Yeah, so I gave up on several things, like also writing my curriculum vitae or things like that. I have other people do that for me. I just because they know better.
It's hard to write things about yourself and design things for yourself, but I think it's a good thing to practice.
But I think the time when I made the quickest jump in my career was when I actually asked a copywriter to write a one-pager about me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I gave him all the information, blah, blah, blah. And then as a copywriter, they know all the good words and things like that.
Yeah.
And I didn't have, because I would spend so much time like trying to finesse it or things like that. But no, I
know.
paid a
So hard.
copywriter and I said, okay, write something about me. And that was actually one of the best decisions I ever made, because that text actually opened a lot of doors.
Yeah, I think if you can, it's good to see things from someone else's perspective. Definitely. I'm gonna copy this page and do kind of another iteration. I'm just gonna.
So Unicorn Heart, you're asking if it's good to use a special program to spell check or grammar check the text content in your work. I think as a last pass, I think you should definitely do it.
At the end, definitely always if you have copy in your project, definitely spell check.
Did you know there's a background music as well?
No.
That they hear that we don't hear? I don't know.
Elevator music?
No, it's actually pretty cool music from this dude Apple Pie in Berlin.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
I like that. What's a piece of advice that's helped you in your professional life? I think that being able to stay true to yourself and have an opinion. A lot of people don't have. Well, let me put it this way. It's good to have an opinion, and I think it's good to, if you believe in something, to stick to it. Obviously, everyone's going to have their own opinion. Design's very subjective, but being able to have a point of view is, overarching is very important.
Oh, Jan Eric, hello. Your life is not over.
Thanks. Whew.
We just saved a life. Hello, Jan Eric. Sorry about that, Leland. See you around. Ooh, have you ever struggled with negative or difficult feedback from clients in the past?
I have. I think that it's important to take, obviously a client, their ideas and points of view are extremely important, and not always in line with what you believe or what you think is best. So I think hearing out the other side, the other point of view is extremely important, because maybe there is something that you've overlooked or you missed, or sometimes collaborative efforts do yield stronger results. So sometimes it's hard to hear that someone doesn't like something that you've done, or that it's not great, but oftentimes that does make things stronger. I'm going a little crazy, but it's fun. Breaking the grid a little bit.
Time is flying, Elena.
Time is flying. Time flies when you're having fun.
You're right. We have
Phil-
30 minutes left today.
Great. And we'll be doing plenty more tomorrow. I'm probably going to take, just for those of you who weren't around at the very beginning, we kind of settled on this this typeface for the title, but I think tomorrow we can go in, bring it into to Illustrator and customize it, make it our own. So I'm not going to throw out this version, but I'm just going to drag it to the bottom so I can kind of not be distracted by it. And that's
Yeah, I had Joey saying, I'm working on a brochure for over a year and a half. What's your longest project and how can you convince the client to stop making changes? A year and a half. That's like going to hell and back.
that does
Come
not
on,
sound great.
that's for a brochure. I don't know. I think that's a bad deal, I had Joe.
I hope you're getting paid hourly.
Yeah.
Make sure to negotiate those things at the beginning.
This is definitely something that when I had my company, that like correction time, I said the first X rounds, like typically 2 or 3 rounds of corrections are free.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
That's so important to negotiate that at the beginning
Yeah.
because otherwise you end up working for a year and a half for
A
free.
year and a half, like I had Joe.
All right, so I'm gonna add another little bit more work in here since we just did a type page. What have I not used? We'll go with this one.
Well, Jeff Chong, tips on educating clients on design. Some clients are afraid of good design and prefer shoddy design. I don't know. Maybe they prefer shoddy design because it's it's in their market. But then if you have a problem with that, just don't do it. This is also one thing that I learned over the years is just to say no to specific stuff.
Yes.
You want shoddy? Well, go to shoddy land.
There's
or
so many people who are willing.
Yeah.
I mean, someone's going to get that work done. It just doesn't need to be you. And I think knowing when to say no is one of the most super important things that you can do for yourself because you don't want to make yourself crazy. So definitely know when to say no. Mm-hmm.
Torsten is asking, Elena, do you have your own YouTube channel?
No, we were just talking about that earlier.
Maybe you
the
will,
universe is listening. Yeah, I don't have my own YouTube channel, but it's definitely, it's a thing.
Oh, Annie Gypsy is asking, it would be interesting to see Elena working on the tablet. I can show you, but I mean, I don't think that's so interesting.
It's not the most
It's like,
interesting.
yeah. You see, basically, it's. Do you like working with the tablet? I guess it's.
I do.
Once you're used to it, it's just an extension.
I love working on it, but I know some incredible designers who don't use it. So, they use a mouse. I love using a tablet, but it's very, it's however it works best for you. It's nice to use a pen, though, definitely. This one, this little red guy right here is one that I've been really into cutting up New York Times and doing collages with it. I only have one here, but it's fun. There's just so much graphic type in the New York Times, so chopping it up and playing with it.
Well, Chris Wolf, you once did 50 plus variations of a logo for a new restaurant that my bar restaurant group was opening. When do you put your foot down and say, pick one? This is also something that comes with experience. At the beginning, They also teach you at school, you have to at least present 3 different ideas. And already that is confusing to the customer because giving them a choice makes them just more confused. So what I started doing is just say, okay, this is a logo I designed. You like it? Good, let's go ahead. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. Because I'm not going to do variations or things, or I think this is the right solution. And that's pretty much it. Then you can do variations and like adaptations and things like that. But you're the designer. You're getting paid for your creativity, and if it's 50 plus variations, that's I don't know whether the designer is confused or if the customer is confused. Maybe both. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think sometimes you have to walk someone through why you did something. Obviously, if it's the best case scenarios are very self-explanatory, but yeah, I mean, give them one solid option and believe in it. If you believe in it, then it should, it will hopefully work. Otherwise, sometimes like 2 or 3 options are great, especially if you like them all, but don't give them anything that you don't like, because chances are people will pick the one that you least like.
Oh, I heard Joe says he's working in an agency, so he's getting paid for his time. So
Good.
So yeah.
Smart.
So it's the agency losing money.
Well, in that case.
Yes, right, Jeff Chung. And always never ever show the option you hate as the client might pick it. Yes.
So true.
This is also a trick that they might teach you at school. Like, show your favorite idea and 2 ideas you don't like to be sure that the client will then move to your favorite idea. That doesn't always happen.
No.
And so it's just an extra risk that I would definitely avoid.
Yeah, I'd say don't show anyone anything that you don't like, because they probably will. Probably will pick it. So I'm kind of doing what I did with that blue one. I know I've already used this image, but I'm going to take this red because I think it'll add something to the page.
So Dorina has a question about the grid again. So basically what we did at the very, very beginning, Elena created the grid on her master pages on a specific layer, so she can toggle the layer on and off easily. Although you can also toggle guides on and off. But but either way. And basically, in this case, I think it's 8 columns and also 12 horizontal.
8, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on the project and whatever works best for you. This doesn't have any body copies, so you might want to change it for something like that. But because we're just staying flexible, this is nice for that purpose.
Tom is saying, when I do studio photography work, sometimes the customer wants to see everything. And again, I think giving the customer everything, may also put the designer or the photographer in a bad light, because not all pictures are good. And I think it's the responsibility of the designer or the photographer to choose the best work out of the photo shoot and just present that. The rest doesn't matter. It's always about showing your best stuff.
Absolutely. And that's something I do on a day-to-day basis is, edit down work and only show the best work for the decision-making process to go more quickly. That's specifically for art direction, but it applies to everything. You don't want to show everything because the decision-making process will be way too lengthy, and you just don't want to you want to narrow it down to the best that it can be for people to make those decisions.
And of course, what I'm saying is, okay, if you're going to give fewer options to your customer, you have to be damn certain about the options that you're showing the customer, because and you have to have a really strong story behind your own choices, because at that point it's not even convincing the customer, it's just to convince the customer that you are in the right, and that your idea is strong, that your concept is strong, and that that's that.
Oh, technical question. about the page numbers.
Pardon? Oh, there's a technical question?
So for the page numbers, in the master, it's a choice that when you, so once you've already made your markers, you can go in and why is it? I don't know why it's blank. It's grayed out. You can go in and you can choose in. Do you know why that's grayed out?
No.
Normally, you'd be able to go into this section.
Oh, yes,
right
because
here.
you're in the master page. You can't do that on the master page. You have to
Have
go
to be in here?
Yeah. And now you can go into the menu.
Got
and
it.
say, yeah.
So yeah, you just go here. I chose the default is just to have 1, 2, 3, 4 without any zeros, but you can go in and choose, A, B, C, D, Roman numerals, anything you want. So it's in the numbering and section options. So I think, do we have time to do one more spread?
Sure.
Plenty more for the next couple days.
15
minutes?
Yeah, a little, 15 or 10. Whatever.
12 and a half.
It doesn't matter. When I tell you to stop, we stop.
So I'm going to do, again, since we're all about kind of non-conventional today and not... this is all just for the fun of it. So I'm gonna use the pen tool to create a line that we can do some fun copy on, and hopefully we'll have time for that. So I'm gonna do like a loose line, and then we'll finesse it in a minute.
Tom, yeah, working with film. That's how I started too.
With film?
No, with like layout with film.
Oh. Yeah.
You wouldn't know anything about that. And actually, my first job was in New York.
Really?
Yeah, and basically all was by hand.
To me that sounds amazing. I think I would love to live in that era with like
making a layout would take like ages.
But it sounds. I guess it sounds more romantic than it probably is. But I think I'd love that.
The fact is that many people were involved in the process, and you could always blame somebody else for it. So, like...
Very helpful. Yeah. Oh, they messed it up.
Yeah, they messed it up. I had to reshoot the film. I had to do this, I had to do that,
So I'm cleaning up my lines a little bit. If anyone has any questions in the last few minutes.
Yeah, so Luca says,
know.
yes, how do you present your project to the client? How do you justify your design choices? I'll let you start on that.
I think having a thorough knowledge of what you're doing is, you need to know what the client wants, and in order to sell it through to them. So doing your research is super important. You can't just come in presenting something that you love. You need to be able to, I think speaking about your work is just as important. Speaking well about your work is just as important as having good work and doing good work. You need to know how to talk about it, because sometimes in your heart that something is great and is the way it should be. But if you can't talk about it, then it's not always gonna work out. So just fine-tuning here, and then if we don't get to typing on this today, we'll do it tomorrow morning.
Sure. Work in progress.
Work in progress. It's kind of fun, though. So, and normally, if like to draw shapes, I would usually go into to Illustrator, but since this is typing on a path in InDesign, it's a great, like the pen tool works great for this in InDesign.
And Sam Agger says there's a film coming out called Graphic Means, which is all about the old days of designing before desktop publishing. So, you remember those days too? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's kind of important to actually, know about these old days, because everything in the interface, like letting or all the concepts. In the applications are actually based on old workflows.
Yeah, it all comes from that place. So I'm just going to type some of these things that I have written in my notebook. Like I mentioned earlier, for those of you who heard, I just jot things down that I want to do in my life or that I need to remember, that I want to do more of. So I'm just going to kind of type some of these out on this path to make an interesting thing that ties in with the rest of the work, which is very free in the zine, but so it's not super structured. It's all color, shape, and emotion.
A vestige, standing at the light table. Countless hours at the light table. So Mr. Curious is asking, why is Michael on the background photo in uniform? Like here.
Which one? Here.
This one here.
With lipstick on.
When I did the army? Yeah.
Yeah. That's...
Was it a general?
Yeah. General Shays.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great time.
Great time. Yes, Annie Gypsy, where this document will be print ready, we will be actually printing it. And we will definitely print it. So Patrick, does the designer take money even from the first draft, even if the client doesn't like it? I mean, that's part of the agreement process. What is it the client actually pays for? Is it ideation? Is it the whole production? Is it and then it's also always a question: do you give him the files? Do you not give him the files? All these things need to be discussed ahead of time, and just to avoid any kind of confusion or misunderstanding along the path.
This is something I would normally have. It's obviously better to copy and paste something, copy that's already written out, but just typing out things from my notebook that I've written over the course of a while. So they're just things that I want to do in the near future, far future.
The stat machine. I mean, I'm pretty sure that 90% of the chat doesn't understand what we're talking about here, Jeff. Luca is asking, do you survey the whole printing process? I think it's super important to know how the whole printing process works. And one thing that I always say, speak with your third party, like your printer, your everybody in the production chain. You have to be really close with, especially so that everybody gets what they what they need to get to do a great job. And I think the success of everybody, that's what is important in the end.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So as you can see, this is kind of starting to take shape, and little abstract type. Just my inner thinkings. Let's see. Running out of room. Probably gonna stop there just because I
Do you
ran out
change
of
the
space.
shape of the not necessarily the line, but how the text is actually aligned on it?
Yeah, so I'm thinking that this area is super funky just because, as you can see, it's a tight little flip. So
Wait. Select the line.
where's my where's my
Okay, that's fine. And then you go to the path tool, the text on the path tool. No, in the
oh, here.
and double click on it. Okay, now you see you can change the effect, and you can also change the spacing. But like now it's the rainbow effect, which is the normal one. But if
Right.
you change there's other effects.
Is this different than tracking the spacing?
Yes, a little bit different. But if you go in the effects, there's other effects, like there's skew.
Woo!
You see, that really makes it
Oh my
look like
God.
a ribbon.
That's fun.
Or there's
I forgot
other
about
ones.
this. I haven't used
3D
this for
ribbon.
ages.
Okay, this is
Getting a
fun.
little.
Stair step. No, that's probably not what you. No.
Wait.
No. And gravity. Gravity is crazy.
Yes. Can you guys see this? This is wild. Fun with type. So I liked the. Let's see. Let's do skew. That's fun, right?
Yeah, even if there's some parts that you can't read, it doesn't.
Yeah,
it doesn't
it's all
matter. It's
kind of-
like it's your thoughts.
It's
right?
my thought. This is what my
Yeah.
my thought process looks like. A little jumbled, but it works.
And then at that point, you don't even care about the problem you had in the.
Yeah.
And you don't even need the space in the text, that you had for the
Yeah.
overlap.
So our time is wrapping up, but I'm just going to take you all through what we've been working on in the past couple hours. Something is starting to form. Zenzine.
The Zenzine.
So again, this is kind of summing up it's kind of the concept behind all of this. I think it's really
Eric says,
interesting.
this is what not to do is type. All right. There's I partly agree to that. Like don't distort type.
Oh,
Okay. Yes. Don't like skew type or distort like that. But in this case, there's actually a concept behind it. There's the concept of the ribbon of thoughts. And in that case, I don't see anything wrong about skewing type because it's actually following a shape. And so I don't find this criminal. All right. What I find criminal is when you take a beautiful type and you just
Squish it,
squish
yeah.
it, or that is criminal. All right, that's design crime.
If you were doing something that was for a brand, for a client, you would probably, unless they asked for something like this, you would probably never do it. Something needs to have a purpose. It needs to be legible. This is a very, very, very... it's an exception because this is something that we're just having fun with, something that we're experimenting with, and this is a perfect place to do stuff like that. I'd probably never do this to get information across because you can't read the information, but if you're going to try it, do it on your own time.
Yeah.
Yes, rules are meant to be broken.
Yes, but you have to know the rules
You have
before
to
you
know
can
the
break them.
rules.
Ooh.
Yes. So again, some of my...
Yeah, we did this by hand in the 60s. And then in like the late 80s, there was this thing called type-align. And it was the first time ever that on a computer you could actually skew type.
Everyone was skewing type.
Everybody was skewing type. Until, you know, like well-behaved designers started saying, stop it now, you know.
Yeah. So this is funky in a different way. We're just playing with, it's kind of ironic because it's saying don't just look at the pictures, which is one of the things from my notebook. I do read quite a bit, but I usually look at the pictures first. And it's a little bit ironic because this is mostly image-based. So we're almost done with today, but let me know if there are any other questions.
Maybe Rufus, you can explain what's going on.
What's going on? Where?
Next.
Okay, yeah. So, I was gonna let me just go back to adobelive.com because that's where we have the chat. That's where we have the schedule, and in the schedule, we see that our next guest is Veronica. That's what 2 hours of speaking does to you. Veronica Cordero, who's going to be live with us for the next 2 hours. And then Nina Chen and Christine Arth. And Elena is going to be back with us tomorrow at the same time, 9 a.m. Pacific time. So we'll be continuing to work on that project and see how that goes along. And I think the long-term plan, or at least the 3-day plan, is to actually print this out and actually see how it works out in real life. And then we have the contest, of course. We invite everybody to download a specific template. It's a template of a postcard. And we want you to post that postcard, the image of that postcard, to Twitter using the Adobe Live hashtag. And I just noticed that we already have the replays tab ready there. And many of you always ask me, can I watch this later? Yes, you can. And because it's going to be available here on adobelive.com and also on the Adobe Creative Cloud YouTube channel for later viewing, because many people actually can't be there all the time. So I know you guys are staying with us, like sticking with us for a very long time. We see that in the stats. We have very long time people actually stay with us a long time.
Thank you all, and I'm excited to continue with you all tomorrow.
And yes, and there's also this side thing happening where Michael just went crazy and said, as soon as we hit 200,000 subscribers to the Creative Cloud YouTube channel, we will ask our Nightbot to select one lucky winner who will get a ticket to Adobe Max.
So exciting.
Yeah.
I'm a little jealous.
Yeah. We'll talk about Adobe Max later on during the stream. All right.
Thank you all. You guys are amazing.
So guys, stay tuned because we're going to be right back with Michael Shez and Veronica Cordero.